Ladies and gentlemen, a political analyst, Herman Manyora, was at Radio Generation today. And I want you to listen to what he said, and then let us analyze this together.
It is Sifuna who has the most votes in the country today.
More than even President Ruto?
Yes. And if you want, we can look for them. They are there. We can tell you. He has the most votes. It doesn't mean if he runs, he will win.
Yes.
That's not how politics works.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying, just like we have been saying, Gachagua is bringing the most votes on account of coming from the most populous voting bloc. Is that right? You see, the Kikuyus are not just the most, the Mount Kenya people are not just the most populous community in terms of census numbers. They are most populous in terms of political muscle. For every population, they register more than the rest of us.
Okay.
You see? So you could have 1 million people.
Manyora made two central claims. First, that Edwin Sifuna holds the highest raw votes potential in the country right now. Second, that Rigathi Gachagua commands the most organized and political discipline voting bloc in Kenya. Read those two claims together and you arrive at one conclusion. William Ruto, the sitting president, is not leading either measurement. Let's start with Gachagua. Manyora was not talking about population size alone. He was talking about political conversion rate, the rate at which Mount Kenya registered voters and the rate at which those voters actually show up on election day. That conversion rate is historically higher than most other regions in the country. So when a presidential candidate is doing the arithmetics, Mount Kenya is not just a larger community. It is a reliable delivery machine. Gashagua's Democracy for Citizens Party launched in May 2025, 7 months after parliamentary removed him from the deputy presidency in October 2024, sits directly on top of that machine. And that is where the analysis depends. Gachagua did not just watch his impeachment happen. He studied it. Parliament moved against him with speed and a coordinated attempt. He now understood the lessons. Control parliament and you control the political game regardless of who occupies Statehouse. So when he builds accordingly, DCP is not a party information. It is recruiting candidates, locking in members of parliament who now regularly vote against the government line and building structures across Mount Kenya and beyond. For every serious presidential candidate in 2027, he will have to negotiate with Gachagua. He is not seeking a seat at the table. He is building the table himself. Now, Sifuna, the Luya bloc has grown its registered voters' numbers to the point of surpassing even other known regions. And add the Gen Z's generation of the young people radicalized politically by the 2013 finance bill protest, add the cross-community appeal of candidate position as the face of change. The same current that sustained Raila Odinga through 5 presidential campaigns before his death last year. Sifuna, whether by design or by circumstances, sits at the intersection of all three simultaneous. But Manyora was disciplined enough to separate potentially from victory, and we must be equally disciplined. Kenyan's electoral history is full of candidates who have the numbers on paper and lost because the coalition fractured, the timing was wrong, or the opponent was better organized on the ground. So whether Sifuna runs, whether ODM backs him, whether the coalition holds, those questions are completely unanswered now. Potential without structure is arithmetic. It does not win election on its own. Which brings us to Ruto. He is entering a re-election campaign without controlling either variable his strategies are tracing. He lost Kashagwa through the impeachment. He has lost the Gen Z wave through the finance bill crisis. When protesters occupied parliament in June 2024 and his administration responded with live ammunition, these are not losses recoverable through rallies. They require structural political solution, new alliances, new coalition, new entry points into blocks that have already moved. None of these solutions have materialized in President William Ruto's government. So, ladies and gentlemen, Manyora did not tell us who will win in 2027. He told us where the power sits, and Ruto is not holding that power.